Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh boy. Just wanted to give something new a shot, right? See if we can come up with something. I was thinking there's never any good news, right? It's, all the news sucks. News is fucking terrible, man. And there was just this nostalgic feeling whenever I think back. Robert Whaley, good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in, brother. Thanks for stopping in. Always good to see you, bro. Yeah, so I was thinking, there's just this nostalgic feeling I get when I think back on a nice cup of coffee and watching the news with the family, like early in the morning, And I wanted to do that, but with a little spin on it this morning. I wanted to look up some good news, right? The news is so crap now, man. It's all bad. There's never anything good, It's like I'll tune into this news network so they can tell me how the world's falling apart every fucking day. It's terrible, man. So wanted to give this new little thing a shot, see how this works. If it doesn't, hey, man, it is what it is. But it's definitely worth a shot. So let me get this up real quick. This is some really good news I saw. Kind of hits close to home in a way, right? I don't directly deal with this thing myself, but just gonna be just going through a few news stories. Good morning. Cheers. Alright, so check this out. This is coming from Johns Hopkins University, or Johns Hopkins Medicine, right? I think that's still part of the university, yeah. But it's a Alzheimer's blood test detects early stages of disease. Now, this passed and was approved by the FDA. Fingers crossed that being the case. It seems like this breakthrough has led to a blood test that can detect Alzheimer's way earlier, like before it really starts to affect somebody, and like the people of that person, or the loved ones of that person, before they really start to deal with what's going on, so anyway, so it says Johns Hopkins researchers were part of the team that developed the breakthrough test, which improves opportunities for early detection and treatment of Alzheimer's. So here's what you need to know. A breakthrough blood test that can detect early signs of Alzheimer's disease was recently approved by the FDA. The test is approved for those who are 55 or older and have been medically assessed as experiencing cognitive decline. Abhay Mogekar and his lab contributed to the development of the test. So a blood test that can help detect early signs of Alzheimer's disease will soon be available to those who meet certain criteria. This first-of-a-kind simple test will improve chances for early detection and treatment of Alzheimer's, which affects about 7 million Americans. Johns Hopkins neurologist Abhay Mogekar is one of the researchers who developed the blood test. In the last few years, he explains, several therapies have been developed to ease Alzheimer's symptoms and slow progression of the disease. These are very helpful, but our ultimate goal is to prevent Alzheimer's disease, not treat it once you have it. The blood test is an early step in the path to prevention. It was developed based on research completed at Johns Hopkins, Lund University, and Sweden, and private companies. So Mogekar's lab contributed important data and validated the test against the results from the cerebrospinal fluid biomarkers already approved by the FDA. They pulled subjects from 3 studies to come up with this test, he says. We contributed many of the samples and did the testing of those samples here in our lab. So I'm guessing this is Abhay Mogekar, and this is his lab right here. Who's eligible for the blood test that helps diagnose Alzheimer's? The test was recently approved by the FDA for those who are 55 or older and have been medically assessed as experiencing cognitive decline. So this would have been incredible for After the fact. A medical assessment includes an evaluation of a patient's medical history and cognitive tests. All of us have forgotten keys or misplaced glasses, Mogakar says, but a medical assessment shows that if a person has more than normal forgetfulness and if it affects their ability to function. How do you get the Alzheimer's blood test? For those who meet the qualifications, primary care physicians or specialists can order the blood test. As with other blood tests, the patient goes to a lab for the test. Most labs will draw blood and send it to a centralized lab that has the equipment and necessary kits to perform the measurements. Is the Alzheimer's blood test covered by insurance? While the test is FDA approved, insurance coverage is a work in progress and may be approved in the near future. So, good luck with that one. There's hopefully they get on that quick. What does the blood test show? The test itself does not diagnose Alzheimer's disease. It measures two proteins in the blood and calculates a ratio of these proteins to determine if the amyloid plaque is present in the brain. Amyloid is the misfolded protein that is an early sign of Alzheimer's disease. So, what it looks like is this test can potentially help detect it way earlier than normal. This could be great for people who, like people who could potentially get Alzheimer's. It's amazing. Here's some good news. Love some good news, man. Love some good news. Gotta love some good news. And I have more. I'm not done here, guys. All right, give me just a sec. All right. 1 minute. Here's a good one. This is for my tree hugger friends here. Check this one out. Alright. Okay. So, cheers everybody. Hope we're all doing well today. I'm going to end this one off in a prayer, but in the meantime, just want to go through some more good news, right? So the 21st century has seen tree cover expand in 60% of American counties, including metro areas. We have more trees now, ladies and gentlemen. More trees. Can't ever go wrong with more trees. I don't think anybody can argue that. I'd love to see someone try. More trees, more good, right? Like that's pretty simple equation there, I'd say. So in a creative use of big data, a survey has found that 3,119 U.S. counties, 1,836 experienced growth and expansion of tree cover, with a high concentration among prairie and Midwest areas. Additionally, among counties that had thinning forests, the mean tree loss was lower than the mean increase among counties that saw expanding forests. In other words, when measured by county, the U.S. has seen a net forest growth over the last 2 decades. Tree cover in human civilization performs several functions. Woods, however small, have the effect of increasing biodiversity in the area, of retaining soil and preventing erosion and runoff into waterways, shading and reducing average air temperatures, offering the obvious recreation opportunities, and helping to calm people. I love trees, man. LawnStarter published an analysis of tree cover data county by county, which found that increases in tree cover weren't limited to rural areas. For example, Lea County, New Mexico, is one of the 25 largest counties in the lower 48 by land area, and it experienced a 1,600% increase in forest canopy, the highest registered in the analysis. So, in the past 25 years, Lea County in New Mexico, which New Mexico is largely just a bunch of dirt, right, and sand. 16 times as many trees. Pretty cool, man. However, 14 of the 25 most populated U.S. counties also gained tree cover, including Kings County, New York, Broward County, Florida, Wayne County, Michigan, home to Brooklyn, Fort Lauderdale, and Detroit, respectively. Isn't Fort Lauderdale in Broward County? Anyway. Both Palm Beach County and Miami. Oh no, it's in Miami-Dade, I think. Miami-Dade County also gained canopy, a significant amounts of it. The counties containing prairie urban centers like Boise, Omaha, Lincoln, and Wichita all gained forest cover. Denver, Indianapolis, Seattle, Columbus, Philadelphia, and Nashville also gained some forest cover. The analysis was conducted between 2000 and 2020, and found that a mean increase of 8.15% across all counties that gained forest cover. It's a major positive for living in a changing climate, since reforestation gains throughout the 20th century have insulated the southeastern region of the United States from increases in average temperatures seen in other regions. Awesome, man. More trees, more good. More trees, more good. This is fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. All right. So bodega owner gives kids free food for good grades. I like seeing the smile on their faces. Wael Al-Selwi, co-owner and manager of Zach's Finest Deli and Grocery in Staten Island, New York, rewards the hard work of neighborhood kids. Let's go ahead and click off of that. Island Auk, I got my report card, man. A young girl in braids says as she enters Zach's Finest Deli and Grocery, a bodega in Staten Island, New York. It's better than ever. Her name is Madison, and she's a 17-year-old high school junior who dreams of becoming a professional basketball player one day. But until then, she's focusing on her grades, according to a heartwarming TikTok. Madison, exclaims Wael Al-Selwi, the Island Auk in question, manager and co-owner of Zach's. Also known as Wally to regulars, he directs his attention to her report card. Last time it was a 98, then it was a 99. What is it this time? She said it's 100. You know what happens? Al-Selwi responds and then hands her $100 and allows her to pick snacks from the store. She opts for Smarties, M&Ms, and other goodies. $100, dude. If I had someone that would give me $100 for my grades when I was a kid, that changed the whole fucking game, dude. Absolutely wild. I would love for someone to give me some $100 for good grades. Alright, Madison's been in before, showing off the high marks and receiving her prize like many other students on Al-Selwi's TikTok account. He says students who earn an average of 80 to 90% are awarded whatever they want from the store, and those who get between 70 and 80 can take home $10 worth of items. Students with lower grades who show improvement also get goodies, and the same goes for kids with perfect attendance who are awarded Student of the Month. If the kid gets 90% or higher, he offers them a pick of their goods from the store as well as a $100 bill and a t-shirt. Based. See, this is the kind of societal boost. You don't need government programs for this. It's not necessary. We don't have to get the government involved. It's a very simple concept, right? Like, if we focused as a society on each other, we wouldn't need the government. I think that's the issue, right? Is that the government has pushed this idea that we are all so incredibly divided, which, granted, like we are, right? But if we focused more on each other and helped each other out, we wouldn't need social programs that take money out of taxpayers' dollars. Wouldn't need it. And there's a lot of people who could... Morning, Abe. Good to see you, brother. How you doing today, man? How you doing? This is morning coffee, bro. I'm giving this a shot, just looking through some good news and trying to start the day off right. Get some prayer in, you know what I mean? But we wouldn't need government programs that take money out of taxpayers' dollars if we had more of a societal focus on helping each other, right? Like, that's the thing. It's the government wants to push this idea that it's completely impossible and everyone's selfish and no one gives a shit about each other, and that's just not true. It's not true. I feel like if people would try and actually give a damn, people would have a lot more faith in humanity. I genuinely believe that, right? But I think what it is people have become, like, over time, people have become so reliant on the government that they genuinely believe that nothing will get done without the government. They genuinely believe that people who make money are just so selfish and don't care about anybody else that there's no way to provide for our fellow countrymen without the government getting involved. And it's these things right here, like this guy, okay? When kids get good grades, they go to his store and he rewards them for that. Of course it comes out of his pocket, right? But it's these little things, like a societal incentive, someone you see on a regular basis, you know? See, I'm not black-pilled in that respect. I refuse to be, bro. I refuse to be. Like, I genuinely believe we have the capability to live with each other in harmony, right? And there's an incentive structure for people to give those things up, right? Like, if I'm a successful businessman and I make a lot of money, I'm going to want to get less taxes. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put my money towards something, whether it be like a local program or whatever, and I'm going to get my tax break for that. And that money, you know, ideally, hopefully, would get utilized for something good. You know, the nonprofit scheme today is a little wonky, but the only way to change that is to start your own. You know what I mean? To be in the trenches and actually do this thing. Like, that's not a socialist idea. It's not a communist idea. It's just having community. You know what I mean? Like, being engaged with the people that live around us. Because we can do that. I genuinely believe that. I may sound like a fucking hippie right now, and that's fine. I'm not worried about that. We're just capable of so much. We can do so much. And I think this idea of how different and how, you know, it's crazy to me, man. Like, you know, there's people I don't like, and I heavily disagree with their beliefs and all of that. And, you know, you're never going to be able to change that. But they're still people, right? It's like it's how this system that we have, this great big experiment that we have in America, it's how this thing works. You know, people are going to have differing opinions. They're going to have differing beliefs, and there's really nothing you're going to be able to do but live with them. You know what I mean? Let's see, some more good news. I need some good news today, guys. Anybody got some good news in chat? How's your days going, guys? Hope you're all doing well. I'm going to start my day off with just want good stories, you know? It's like I click on Google and I just get this like legal pad list of everything going wrong in the world. And I don't want to say it kills me, but it's just, I'm exhausted by it, man. You know, every single day. God is good. Yes, sir. That's right, Abe. God is good. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Faithful to fulfill. Yes, sir. That's right, brother. That's right, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%, man. Let's get into some prayer. I want to pray, man. God, thank you for today. Thank you for waking me up again. I know only through you can I be an honest and responsible individual. Can I move forward in this life? Only with your direction will I keep my feet on the ground. Thank you for everything you've brought me through. Even though there are things going on in the world, you are good. You're everything that's good. And I know when things get tough and there is only one set of footprints in the sand, it's not my footprints, it's yours. When things get tough, only you can carry me through. I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to praise you right now. I'm forever blessed. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Love you too, brother. Love you too, man. God is good all the time. All the time. All right. Oh, bro, here's a little heartwarming story. This is gonna help me out. All right, boy was in tears because he didn't have PJs for pajamas day. His bus driver came to the rescue. Clutch bus driver, based bus driver, dude. This is what I'm talking about, man. School bus driver known in his community for going above and beyond went viral when one of his acts of kindness touched the hearts of strangers. Larry Ferris Jr., who drives buses in Louisville, Kentucky, noticed a little boy named Levi was having a rough morning. Normally when I pull up, he's standing there waiting for me with a big smile, but on this day he was sitting on the ground with a jacket over his head. I asked him, "Hey buddy, what's going on? What's wrong?" That's when Levi, a first grader at Englehart Elementary School, explained through tears he didn't have pajamas for pajama day. Ferris Jr. closed the doors and watched as Levi slid into the seat away from his friends. Ferris Jr. says, knowing that Levi wanted to participate but couldn't, filled him with sadness. I thought, I gotta fix this. After Ferris Jr. finished up his morning routes, he headed to a Family Dollar store and purchased 2 pairs of PJs for Levi, based, and he headed over to Levi's school to make things right. I said, "You were hurting this morning, you were crying, so I got you these pajamas," Ferris Jr. recalls. He was so excited, you should have seen how his face lit up. Ferris Jr. adds that Levi hugged the pajamas to his chest. Look at that kid, man. Look how happy he is, bro. That's what's up, dude. That's amazing, bro. That's God's work right there. That's so awesome, dude. That's so cool, bro. Mr. Larry, as the kids call him, turned Levi's whole day around. I can tell Mr. Larry is nice and his heart is filled with joy, Levi said in the news release. When he got me the PJs, I did a happy cry. Oh, man, that's so cool. Ferris Jr., who previously worked as a correctional officer and a truck driver, says he's found his calling. Been driving buses for 7 years. It's my passion because I get to build bonds with the kids. I truly love every minute of it. Dude, that's a good one. That's a good one. After Jefferson County Public Schools posted on his Facebook what Ferris did for Levi, people started sharing their own stories. Mr. Larry's the absolute best. We're blessed with him as a bus driver for 4 years, top-notch human. Larry's the absolute best, and kiddos know why they're in great, caring, capable hands with him. Oh, bro, that's a good story, dude. Look at that kid, bro. He's a scrapping young kid, man. That's awesome, dude. And all the time, God is good. Yes, sir. That's right, brother. That's so right. You never lie, Abe. You know what I mean? You never lie, dude. Alright. Oh, they got the Big Brothers Big Sisters program opening back up in New Orleans. That's pretty cool, man. That's good stuff, dude. There's some kids out there that need that, dude. New Orleans is a rough place right now. It's a rough city right now, man. They need that. People coming together and doing things. See, this is that good stuff right here, bro. Alright. LA restaurateur Marissa Hermer launches food delivery service to feed families displaced by the wildfires. Oh, this was a while ago. Hey, but it's still good news, bro. I didn't even know this was a story. This is awesome. All right, so check this out. Back when LA went up in flames, a story about, obviously this lady is doing her thing to give back to folks, man. That's amazing, dude. There's one thing Marissa Hermer knows how to do. It's feed people. The restaurateur and former Ladies of London star is among thousands affected by the devastating wildfires ravaging the greater Los Angeles area. Hermer, who evacuated from her Pacific Palisades home on Wednesday, is now giving back to the community she's lived in for the last decade. Ex-husband and I both had a walk-in carry all of the belongings. Had to walk in, carry all the belongings that we could grab on our backs and our fronts and piled up. I wore every piece of jewelry that I owned and carried tons of bags and walked about a mile. You scan your house and you think, okay, what am I going to take? There's no planning for this. We didn't have a go bag. Hermer tells Today.com about launching a food delivery service for those impacted by the fires called You Give, We Cook, They Eat, based. After she was initially told she lost her French brasserie, the Draycott in the Pacific Palisades Village Shopping Center, she turned tragedy into action. Later found out the mall and her restaurant is still standing structurally, but she doesn't know the extent of the damage. That's pretty cool. Yeah, hopefully it wasn't too damaged to burn up. As I was driving the kids and dogs down to a hotel, I thought about what all the parents think about around 6 o'clock that night, what's for dinner. Then I thought there are a lot of people in Los Angeles who are wondering what's for dinner. And when you don't have a kitchen, that's an even bigger challenge. Yeah. Hermer has now opened the kitchens at her other restaurants, Chez Mia and Olivetta in West Hollywood, to cook warm meals, including bread, salad, and pasta for families, firefighters, shelters, and hospital workers based. When you don't know if your house is standing and you don't know where your kids are going to go to school, and you don't know what you're going to do, lean into the things that you do know. And I know how to cook dinner. So I thought, okay, let's cook dinner for a lot of people because we can. And we have a team who can do it. Hermer says she's raised over $50,000, which will provide meals for displaced families and frontline workers. Operating on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, the program first launched during the COVID pandemic. And anyone anywhere in the world who can donate by texting dinner to 707070. The O needs to be in front, right? Because that's a big salute there. That's a good person, dude. See, it doesn't take a lot to be a good person, man. It really doesn't. All you gotta do is think about somebody else sometime. And I'm not saying that to try and say I'm some great guy, right? Like, I'm selfish, and I have my issues with not thinking of other people when I should or could, but I do my damnedest. I really do try. I try to be a good person, On Hermer's Instagram, displaced families in LA who need food can comment "family for a free meal." Folks can nominate a displaced family who needs food by commenting "nominate family" and tagging the individual, and drivers who can pick up food from the restaurants and deliver it to families can comment "driver." Sometimes it's hard to say, by the way, I want food or I need a meal. We're not programmed to ask for what we need. So if you know about a family who needs a meal or someone who could use it, you can nominate them and we'll get in touch. Man, that's a good point. Yes, bro. Yes. Yes. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Yep, and it's only through him, man. But it's so funny, like reading through that, just seeing how many times like the hand has been out there for me, and whether it be pride or just some form of ego, right? I know pride is part of the ego, but there's been so many times when the chance to get help was there, the opportunity to get help was there, and it wasn't that I'd smack the hand away, but I wasn't humbled to take that help, and it reminds me of that story of he's the preacher who's drowning in the flood, and a guy comes by on a boat, and he goes, "Hey, come here, like I'll help you, and the preacher goes, "Nope, I don't need to worry about a thing. God will save me," So the water gets up to his waist, and two boats come by. These guys are like, "Dude, come on, like, get in. The water's gonna keep rising." And he says, "Nope, God's gonna save me. I know it. So the water gets up to his chest, right below his neck. And a helicopter flies over, lets down a ladder. The guy's there, and he goes, "Come on, man, grab the ladder. Get up here. The guy goes, "Sorry." And the guy goes, "No, God's gonna save me. God's got this. Don't worry." So the helicopter flies away. Well, the water goes over the preacher's head, and he ends up drowning. And as he's standing at the pearly gates, St. Peter lets him in. He walks through the gates, and he goes up to God, and he goes, "God, I've always been a faithful servant to you. I believed you would save me. Why did you let me die?" And God goes, "Well, I sent you 3 boats and a helicopter." It's that kind of thing where, like it says, we're not programmed to ask for what we need. And, in my case, it's the exact opposite, where even when I'm offered, sometimes I'll just let it go. Yeah. Absolutely, Abe. Based. Yes, we have to be aware and prepared for the moments where God meets us. It's easy to be blinded by the time where we aren't in need. Yes, 100%. 100%. And there's like, it's to some degree, it's understandably kind of emasculating for a man, right? And that's the thing, is being able to submit to God, because God's the one putting you in the position to be helped. God's giving you that opportunity. So when you accept help, when it comes, you are accepting it directly from God. I truly believe that. Genuinely. The way that's played out in my life, when I was hit with the ultimatum from my family, it was exactly when it needed to happen. I didn't have anywhere to stay. I literally woke up in a bush that morning. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. See, that's the true surrender, right? That's the true surrender. And there's so much peace in that, man. I'll tell you, like, you know, my first surrender was moving up to Alabama. And I can honestly say it wasn't 100% I was ready to get sober when I moved up here, because I moved up here in April 1st of 2018, and I didn't end up getting off drugs until the 20th of October. I had a good like 6 months in me that I needed to learn some more lessons, some real hard lessons when I moved up here. And but it was my first introduction to submission, because I went from a place where I had lived my entire life. I was incredibly familiar with it. Isn't it, bro? Isn't it? Yeah. It's crazy. But I had lived my entire life in that area. I was comfortable. I knew it like the back of my hand. I mean, and I will say, bro, like it was the beginning of a massive change in my life. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And God brought me here, and he needed to teach me a few more lessons, because I didn't want to listen, man. And then come October 20th, it was the 19th of October actually. So I was in sober living, and I relapsed on the 19th. Well, I relapsed at like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So technically it was the 19th, but I was up all the way until the morning. And I got that, like, they shook the cup at me, and I'm glad I met you too, Abe, for real, bro. I'm glad I met you too. God's good, dude. God's amazing. But they shook the cup at me. I ended up getting kicked out, and my sponsor let me crash on, or let me stay over at his place. Well, I crashed on his couch that night, but while I was there, I had this moment where I was looking in the mirror, and it's like a very cliche kind of thing, right? But I could see, it was like God put in my head, right? I could see myself in this endless cycle of pretending like I wanted to get sober and going through the program for a little bit, and then ended up back in the streets when I inevitably fucked up, and then crawling my ass back into, absolutely, bro, absolutely, 100%. But it was like God showed me what that was gonna be. And this is a controversial statement for some people, but I genuinely mean this. Like, yeah, 100%. But like, I genuinely believe, like, okay, I mean this, and I'm not saying this to be edgy. Like, I mean this with 100%, like, of everything that I believe, okay? If I would have OD'd out there, it would have been the easy way out. That's how I saw it at the time. I was like, my life was so miserable. And I wasn't a victim to that, because I did everything that put me in that position. I did that to myself. And I take full accountability for that. That's why I have health issues and stuff because of that, but I'm not a victim to those things. Like, I did, where I'm at in my life today, I'm the one that brought myself here. So I refuse to be a victim to myself. That's the big thing. And but that's how I looked at it. It was, I had this moment when I was looking in the mirror where, like, I thought to myself, I'm not going to be lucky enough to overdose out there. I'm going to be living this miserable, dead life for 20 years. And I wouldn't be lucky enough to overdose. And that scared the absolute shit out of me. It wasn't the fear of death that brought me to God. It was the fear of a dead life. Genuinely. And that's where my initial surrender to God came from. And ever since then, this relationship has done nothing but grow. And God has changed me in ways I never thought could ever happen. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And some people may not understand what a dead life is. And I just don't know any other way to explain it. You know, it's just hollow. I wasn't at peace with the way that I thought things were going to end, but I had accepted a very miserable fate. And God, that's what God saved me from. And God's made changes in my life over time. And it's just, I can't help but be grateful today. That's really what it comes down to, you know? No matter how bad things get, I have Jesus. That means more to me than anything else. That I could get this mercy that I don't deserve. And I'm not a biblical scholar, you know, but I know Christ, at least in here. And the sacrifice that he made. Absolutely, dude. I'm totally down, man. 100%. But the sacrifice that Jesus made is the reason I was given mercy. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Sorry to cut this short. I need to FaceTime with my grandfather. God bless everybody. Thank you for joining me today, Abe. Reach out whenever, brother. Love you, dude. You guys have a great day, okay?